I would like to take the opportunity to introduce to you my version of the protocol. And it's possible to do it in one of two ways. One is to give you the how or the why. And I've decided to give you the how. And then we can come back and you can clarify the why. Do that part of it. Now, I will just preface this out of all of the many things that I've engaged in and experimented with or learned over the decades. I consider this to be far and away the most important thing I've ever done. And even though it is apparently remarkably simple, I now am pretty firmly convinced it's what I will be doing for a very long time. I mean, quite literally, many thousands of years I'll be doing this one thing. And so now I'm giving you the why, and I had promised you the how. So the how is quite simple. It is to locate a place directly in front of your chest, about an arm's length in front of your body horizontally. And it will be a small area, an area maybe the size of a ball, an orange or something like that. And you slowly move it directly inside your chest and put it inside of something that is relatively small. And I don't have an instrument. Oh, this is the best I can do. But something no larger than this. And even that might be too big. So to be able to take your attention, move it inside, bring it inside your chest, and simply make a choice to feel more. As simple as that sounds, it is very important that you consider the experimentation with it. So, to repeat that, find a place directly horizontally in front of you, and just with your feeling, put your attention, your feeling inside that ball, and decide to feel more. Without really defining what that is, or yet any sense of expectation of outcome, just feel more. And later on you can add to this sincerity of feeling. Right now you're engaged in an experiment. You're just noticing something. And so you're engaged in it. So later on you'll find that there's many, many degrees of ever increasing depth of sincerity. Now you can increase the sincerity, and whatever level that you're on is correct. Now you can, in the same place, make the sincere intent to feel more. And about the average length of time that I would recommend that you do this at any one time is probably no more than 10 seconds. And you can go up to more if you want. I don't personally believe that it's necessary, but 15, 20 seconds, being there, sincere desire to feel more, sincere desire to feel more. And what you might begin to describe the feeling more of is the feeling more of self, feeling more of me, which has a background intent, if you wish to continue to add it, the sincere desire to feel more of me. I really want to know, feel more of me. Whatever that is, whatever it becomes, I would like to, 10 seconds, then kind of go about your business. But doing your best to add that again, at least within a 90-minute period. I won't yet go in and explaining why that 90 minutes is important, but to just about your daily activities, just go in and sincerely desire to feel more. And in the process of doing that, just keep examining the sincerity and the intention that you sincerely want to feel more. Now, somewhere along the way, you may make a choice, and the choice I'm suggesting that you experiment with is a sincere desire to feel more infused with truth. That you would really like to feel more of the truth about you. The sincere desire to feel with truth. And then you just do that within that same 10-second period. It doesn't matter. Eyes open, eyes closed. The posture doesn't matter. You can do it while taking a shower or going for a walk. You can do it while doing yoga. You can do it while eating. I recommend that you do it in all kinds of situations, because ideally what I'd really like to have is the sincere desire to feel more, always infused with truth as it gradually expands. Now, each and every time that you go there, there is a recorded feeling and a memory that accumulates. And the nature of it depends on the sincerity and the intention generated by you. So you just go there, feel more. Go there, feel more. Now, as simple as that sounds, for me, that's what we will be doing for a long time, is that we will be experiencing something, feeling more, and learning the truth about it. Now later on, we'll describe the why, that there are 3 levels of truth that you can experiment with. But the first one is really just the truth about me, and I sincerely want to feel me. So that's the first stage of the how. It's that simple. I know it sounds like, wow, really, that simple. But there is something that occurs were you to continue that 10 seconds in every 90 minutes of a 24-hour cycle. Something is intrinsically locked inside of this place and is accumulating, because inside this place, like a clock, it's rotating. Like the earth rotates, everything rotates. So inside of a 90-minute, you can go to 2 hours if you want, because the actual rotation is 2 hours, but it overlaps by a half an hour, and I won't go into the details. That would be the why of things. But just go in there, feel that, and do your best all throughout the day. If you sincerely want to feel more of the truth about self. Later on, we'll come back, if you choose, and put some definitions of all the possible words that self means. But right now, to me, self is there to be as neutral as possible about you, with as little influence from any other social, theological, family issue. It's just you initiating something creative about you. You're making a choice. Now, my experience with that has been that within seconds of doing that, without knowing it, your life has changed. Because you've created and initiated something with your own feeling and choice now brings the opportunity for you to grow within your own individuality, your own integrity, your own feeling, and you were the person who initiated it. I can't initiate it for you. No one else can initiate it for you. You are the only one capable of initiating by your own sincere feeling and intention to create the opportunity to feel more. You're the only one. Now, were you to continue that for a cycle of 90 days, you have now done something that very few human beings on the earth have ever done. And as the result of adding in through one season of the year, and there's a reason why there are seasons, but we won't go into the why of the seasons just now. You're going to do this and do this and do this. But it's a creative act by you with a sincere desire to be more of you forever. Now, that may be the easy part, because I mentioned that as a result of doing that even once, what I will call and define it later as a law of attraction, something will start coming to you, in most cases quite subtle. It won't even seem like much. One of your kids walks by, the neighbor knocks on the door, somebody turns on the television, a phone call rings, you stub your toe, something happens. But the goal in this, eventually, is to process every single feeling from the original paradigm that you choose to feel. 100% of everything that's coming to you with sincere intent to feel the truth. Whether it's coming to you or transmitted by you, that your sincere personal intent is to feel the truth about this feeling. That is not easy to do. To be completely willing, to be completely responsible, that every single feeling, no matter how subtle, coming to you by the tens of thousands of them, you're going to choose to take it inside, feel to desire the truth about it. Now, here's mechanically what happens, so I'll give you some of the why along with the how, is the moment you start to want to grow, there will be barriers around you. These barriers will be of multiple content: genetic family content, family tree content, social environment, neighborhood, country, world, global. There's all kinds of influences around you all the time. Were you capable of being inside all of those influences and only responding with a sincere desire to feel the truth about this one, and that one, and this one, and that one, because they will come to you from different angles. I call these vectors. And if you look at the iris, this is exactly what I'm describing. If you've seen a picture of your own iris, for example, if you could imagine standing inside your own pupil, and you'll see all of the angles that you're familiar with, constitutional patterns, and a gland or organ at this position, a gland and organ at this position, I'm suggesting that's exactly what you're doing. That in some form or another, you're choosing to come out of the iris into the space that's actually creating the iris, and choose to, with feeling, sincerity, integrity, and honesty, choose to feel everything that comes to you with truth And then eventually, because we're not there yet, everything that you transmit goes out along the same feeling, integrity, and truth. Everything you receive, everything you transmit. Now, that's a challenging thing for me to do, and I do my best to practice every hour, honestly, every 10 minutes of the day, to feel that and feel everything that's happening. This includes everything beautiful, everything sad, everything numb, everything distant, no matter what it is, every single impression coming to me, I sincerely want to feel. Now you can intend to add more to every part of it, because if something comes in that is about your sister, brother, or friend, something about money, something about sex, something about religion, from somewhere else, it's just something around that moves you. If something moves you, you notice that it provokes or you have an emotional response. When that emotional trigger is moving you, it has a wavelength over time. And you'll have some of them that come right through you fast and they're gone. Or other ones more related to your mate, your children, something in the house, with somebody else close to you. Some of those very difficult ones can last for 3 days. So any time during that 3 days or a few seconds, if you're still emotionally being moved, you notice that you're being moved. You can go inside that, take the feeling inside this same space and go, I sincerely want to feel all of the truth about this that I've ever been denying. Wait, this is really important. Show me all the truth about this feeling, no matter how small, that I've ever been denying. "10 seconds, 90 minutes, 10 seconds, you practice, you practice, you practice. Nothing's happening, it's not true. Something's always happening. If you feel numb, if you feel tired, if you feel lonely, no matter what you're feeling in the moment, show me all the truth about this feeling. Show me all the truth about this feeling. Show me all the truth about this feeling. I sincerely want to know all the truth about this feeling. And if you're having a moment with somebody who's close to you, and it's moving, you'll be slightly more motivated because the feelings will be more sincere. I sincerely want to know the truth about this feeling. In the process of asking that, you're going to set in motion, because you're choosing to feel, you're going to set in motion a sequence that is exactly precise to you and not to anyone else. That's why it's so important. Even though I'll be doing the same process you're doing, if you're doing that protocol, you're going to set in motion your precise sequence. It's almost like tiny threads of silk, or spider's webs, or cotton candy. Little things are going to come, and you need to process this one about the dog, and this one about politics, and then another one about religion, and another one about climate change, and another one about your ancestors. Then you'll just, there'll come something, and another, and another, and another, in your precise sequence that's naturally perfect for the unfoldment of all of the denial that's actually causing the physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, the disease, the damage. I'm saying you're setting in motion a sincere desire to process every feeling known or unknown to you that was ever imprinted inside you. which means at conception, by the way, we got a lot. At conception all the way through gestation, you got a lot. You got a lot from your mother, you got a lot from your father, and it just came in. All of the ancestral things came in, hundreds and hundreds of feelings, thousands of feelings, all came in at one time. And then you developed a strategy for how to avoid it from now on. Because the magnitude of the pain of that much damage is, for me, what literally creates your iris. Your iris is your personal method, your strategy for how to avoid the damage that was transmitted to you at conception. It's your personal biological imperative that links you into a social dynamics for the rest of your life. You have a social dynamics based on your biological imperative because your mother and your father, at the point of conception, they gave you all of that like a giant thunderclap. At your conception, it came in, and the shock of all of that stuff coming into an otherwise pristine person, soul, self, whatever you want it to be, the strategy was to compartmentalize, separate, spread it out, deny it, wall it off, and do your best never to feel it again. So, the sincere desire to feel the truth about me sets in motion all of these denied fragments, one at a time or two at a time. No, it's not true. There can be more than that. But major ones come through like waves, and then little ones come through, and they come from different directions, and whatever. This one's a big one, and something like that happens. These are the composites of the epigenetic influences that rule anyone's life. And all of the physiological, emotional symptoms, personality attributes were all primarily infused inside of you, and you reacted to it. That, in a nutshell, is basically what I'm talking about, is why it's so important is to intrinsically desire to be yourself, an individual, unique being by any classification of adjective, sincerely desire to be me, and keep infusing that while recognizing the experiment is all of this comes in, and 100% of what comes in is directly related to what's already inside. So virtually nothing can come to you that you don't already have. And the reason it comes to you is that if you have it inside of you, it comes and it makes you have to feel the one you're denying. That's why it's significant to be able to take each one of those experiences and feel them one at a time. So I'm going to pause here for a moment and ask on a basic level, is the how so far reasonably clear?
Yes, absolutely.
It's just pretty darn simple. Feel, go inside. Doesn't have to be the actual physical heart, though I believe it's around it. I like to use the pericardium. I've tried the thymus, didn't have as much success there, but it's around the heart. But most people don't realize that their iris is actually around them, not just inside them. So we have a field, a vibratory field, a mental field, sometimes called a spirit body, and depending on what culture you go to, it has dozens of names for what this field is. So I just call it field because in some places if you call it causal or etheric, you can cause a fight in the audience. So I just call it the field, because we get really attached to what we think we should call something. And the problem is all of these things inside that are damaged, underneath them, every one of them has a false belief system. So every form of damage we have inside of us that is actually triggered by the arrival of a law of attraction event, if we have a trigger and we slap the person or thing, you did this to me, wait, you make me feel like, wait, it's your fault. You should have taken the dog out, the toilet paper, this, that. Surely you've never done that before. Blame the person who's delivering it because you're delivering it the wrong way. That's not what I... But in reality, they're there to actually make you or give you the opportunity to feel something that is actively in denial. And that layer of denial, by the way, has layers to the denial. And by the way, you won't be done for a very long time. Because, for example, if it's helping you feel something about your mother, right? And you go, oh yeah, that's me and my mom or whatever. Oh yeah, I see that pattern from my childhood. My mother has a fear of poverty. Yes, and you're making me feel this fear of poverty, right? And you want to blame it on your mother. You can't do that either. You will not be done with your mother for a very long time. Or your father. You won't be done for a very long time. So you get more familiar with everything that comes in. Oh yeah, this is a daddy issue. That's a mommy issue. Oh look, my mommy and daddy issues are now on the, and I'll use a term here from them, they're on the third ring, because there are rings in the iris. They're on the third ring of the iris. The third ring of the iris now corresponds to the solar plexus, and that's pancreas, spleen, and on the liver on the other side. So do you know what the primary issues are that most people fight about? They happen to be number 3, by the way. So what would you think the most common things are that people fight about? Money is a big one, which, by the way, links into control of resources or other people. What's mine, that's not yours. Give me that, this thing, land, money, inheritance, social control of other people. Sure, it's linked right down into mommy and daddy issues about sex. So mommy and daddy issues about sex, when you go out to number 3, you end up with a mommy and daddy issue around sex and betrayal, treachery and money, all linked together, and it's highly painful. And then we end up having to show me all of the feeling I am denying about this. Show me the truth. The more emotional it is, the more timely it can be to give you the opportunity to take one more layer off the onion or the pearl, whichever metaphor you like more. But in the process of doing it, what you've actually engaged in is not so much the process of releasing, which is a byproduct. Releasing is a byproduct. What you've actually done is increase the magnitude and sincerity of your desire to feel more with truth. Did you get the difference? I'll try that again. So you have an emotional conflict with someone. No matter what it is or which vector it's on. They come in and trigger you, and you decide, I'm being triggered. And by the way, I get triggered every single day. If I'm not being triggered every day, then I'm not being honest. So then I'm triggered. While I'm triggered, I sincerely want to know all the feeling about this feeling I'm denying. As I'm doing that, I'm actually building the sincerity and the intent to infuse my experience of the increase of feeling with truth. So it doesn't matter which vector it comes from or what the topic is about. It's about the creation of something greater, because I intend to create feeling, truth, process everything with feeling and truth. Here comes one about money. Here comes one about sex. Here comes one about religion and politics, friendship. And it doesn't matter what the topic is. The goal is to feel it and increase the desire to feel the truth about it. So yes, will you be releasing something inside you? Yes. Will you be releasing something from the family tree? Yes. Do you need to know all of the content yourself? No. But you do need to feel the actual feeling. So when the feeling is being brought to you by the law of attraction, you're actually experiencing emotionally a feeling that you might think it's about that person, but if you look more closely, you'll find it in a pattern of your life with other people, and then you'll find it in a pattern with your childhood, with your mother and your father, and then you'll have the realization that that feeling that you thought was about this person who came over to your house has actually been flowing through you before you were born. It's been flowing through your family tree before you were conceived. Unfortunately, maybe 99% of the feelings that you believe are you are not you. They were imprinted in you at conception. And you start to relate to them as you. And when you relate to them as you, and then you start to transmit them, when you start to transmit or reject this person, you're actually, with your will, you're no longer intending to experience the truth, you're intending to reject and deny. Reject, deny, and attack. Reject, deny, and attack. Or reject, deny, and attack me. Reject, deny, and attack me. Attacking self or someone else, useless, damaging, will bring disease, suffering, trauma to yourself, your community, to your country, the globe, the world, and the spirit world. Do you have a better sense of the protocol? Because for me, that's why it's so important, is to have a realistic creation of something. Yes, go back and balance all of the symptoms biochemically, and you are getting more and more experience about how to balance nutrition and body chemistry. Yes, go ahead and use vibrational medicines of all different kinds, colors, fragrances, sounds, aromatherapy, you name it, meditation, symbols. You can do Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, all those integrated things. But if you're not doing this, it's useless. It's just, please keep people alive long enough for them to learn how.
Yeah.
So if they need emergency medical treatments, get them to a doctor in a hospital or wherever. If they need long-term chronic changes in their diet, your responsibility is primarily education. Really, you're educating all the time. But to begin to educate them that 100% of what's coming around them, coming to them, is a direct result of what they have inside, that's huge. The very consideration that the world around me is directly related to what I have inside me. Do I sincerely want to know everything inside me? Now, questions to this so far, or?
Makes perfect sense.
There will come a whole series of things after it. And you will discover that sincerity has multiple levels of depth. And you will discover that intention has multiple levels of strength. Oh, by the way, every time you examine your sincerity, your feeling goes up. Every time you examine your intention, the definition of your individuality goes up. You're measuring your own intention. And you can start out with whatever intention you want. This is an experiment. No, I'm sick, I want to be well. I'm unhappy, I want to be happy. I'm poor, I want to be rich. You can start out with multiple forms of intentions. Start wherever you want. Just keep asking for the truth about them. Be willing to be able to adjust and change them. So this is what I'm doing. And it is, for me, the genuine composite of everything I've ever found that is actually useful in some way that is simple enough to be understood in a few minutes, but likely I'll be doing it for a very long time. So, ladies, any questions about the protocol as it is explained? I can assure you there will come many questions when you start applying it. And I can only suggest to you that a little tiny bit of practice will bring a law of attraction event, and then you'll pause and go, here it is again. What am I going to do when I'm confronted with an emotional reaction about, pardon me, one of my favorites is Donald Trump? Now for you, now just so you know, for me, Donald Trump is a 4, because anything in my own national boundary is a 4. That's a 4. But if Donald Trump is in another country like it is with you, now that's global. I have to apologize because you're using Donald Trump to move your immune system. Global. I just get to have him for the heart. Wonderful. You get to have somebody else in your country to help you with your heart, your national group. National group, global group, larger group. Those are the rings of the iris. Family group, social group, global group, levels at 5 and 6. Now I did notice that Jason sent some other photos along. Before we go on to other topics, Jason, anybody questions about the protocol from this level of it?
Have you guys had a couple of experiences on the protocol where it felt overwhelming? Would you recommend being more gentle or just be overwhelmed?
To the current magnitude of your willingness to experience it, go for overwhelm. Because in the middle of the overwhelm, you're actually doing a series of things. You're building something creatively, you're building your will, you're building your feeling, your sincerity is being re-examined, your intentions being re-examined. But you're also dissolving the pearl. You're doing remarkable things in those few moments of sincerely desiring to feel as overwhelmed as you can. And then notice when you shut it down. Maybe once every other day, something meaningful comes on the television about a child or a dog or whatever, and I start to feel and I shut it down. My jaw shuts, my fist shuts, and I just watch myself. There I am, I'm doing it again. Help me feel all of the denial about this feeling of why I am choosing to shut myself down in this moment. Show me the truth about this. Then later we'll describe about what happens when you go from 90 days to 6 months to 9 months. And, well, I won't give you any forebodings about it, but good luck. Anything else, Jason?
So this is describing the first 3 months. You'll wait before you'll go into the stuff around grace.
Yes, because the important part about the foundation of the 3 months, it is the tightest, smallest diameter that you can generate about you. And any time that you start to infuse it with higher principles too quickly, religious principles, social principles, if you try to go too far out too fast, you lose some of the accumulative benefit. So during this time period, it's just you, about you, and the other influences will come. It's just you, about you. That's it. Then there are quantifiable things that begin to happen on the second cycle. Now these cycles, by the way, will correspond to different glands, organs, body systems, placements in the body. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you will see these situations develop over an extended period of time, but it's not necessary to go there too quickly. It's just to start with a strong foundation of a sincere desire to want to feel more of the truth about this.